it to flight school. We'll learn to fly. Ooh, let me take you to flight school.
Hey there everybody, and welcome back. So we're back here at KLAX for Los Angeles International Airport, getting ready for our last road to Sydney leg, which is going to take us on United Airlines Flight 839 with non-stop service from here at LAX to YSSY, or Sydney International Airport. This is going to be anywhere between about a 14 to 15 hour flight, and it's going to take us pretty much out over the ocean for the entire duration. It's about 10:30 or so here at LAX. Our flight's supposed to depart somewhere between 10:45 and 11. So we're going to go ahead and get on our way and get on up there in the skies. As you can see, there's still a lot of traffic coming in and out of LAX, and we find ourselves over here at the Tom Bradley International Terminal, which is the terminal that primarily services most of the international flights that come into and out of LAX. It sits at the very end of the terminal buildings, and we're pretty much the last international flight remaining for the rest of the evening. You can see that there's still a lot of domestic traffic that's going in and out of the airport at this time, and because we're going to be heading out right over the ocean, we don't really have to worry about any sort of noise abatement problems, even though Los Angeles, it doesn't matter too much about noise pollution to begin with. So here we are at our beautiful aircraft, our 777-200, and we're going to go ahead and get inside of her, get her loaded up from this cold and dark state, since she's on about an 18-hour turnaround, and get on our way down to Sydney. So glad to have you all with us, and hope you enjoy the flight. So here we are inside of our beautiful 777-200 in the United Star Alliance livery. Currently she's in a cold and dark configuration, and we're here at the Tom Bradley International Terminal at KLAX, getting ready to make our way on over to YSSY. So let's go ahead and get her brought to life and all powered up, and then we'll load our passengers, load our cargo, and get on our way to Australia. So we'll start with the battery. We'll come on down into our FMC and hold down the menu button so that we can get our ground connections going. So wheel chocks are already set. Ground power is on ground 2 plugs. We'll go ahead and put on our dual jetway plugs along with our air conditioning. And you can hear those things start to come alive now. So now that that's done, we'll go ahead and put on our primary and secondary external power. Go ahead and put on our nav and our logo lights. Go ahead and put on our ADIRU so we can get our IRS aligned, and our emergency lights. Let's go ahead and get some fuel on board so we can start loading our passengers. And if we look at our flight plan here, you can see that it's calling for 218,554 pounds of fuel, which we're going to give ourselves a little bit extra to be safe, so we'll go ahead and take on 221,000 pounds. So let's go ahead and go on down into our FMC again, and we'll put on our fuel at 221,000 pounds. Alright, so our fuel is now on board. What we'll go ahead and do now is go ahead and put on our passenger seatbelt signs. We'll also go ahead and put on the storm lights so that we can see what's going on here in the cockpit. Go ahead and bring the jetway on over to our aircraft, which you can see it's on its way now. We'll go ahead and open up our doors and load our passengers. So disarm this door, open it, along with our cargo doors. And now we'll go ahead and call for GSX to load our passengers for us. And we'll use Alaskan Airlines. Alright, let's go ahead and get our radios turned on here. There we go. And we'll go ahead and start programming our autopilot as well. So as we take a look at our flight plan, you can see it wants us to cruise at flight level 340. And as we look down here, it says that we'll be taking off on runway 25 right. So we'll go ahead and plug in 340. The heading for 25 right, if my memory serves me correctly, is 251. Go ahead and put that in here. Alright. Go ahead and put on our flight directors. And go ahead and also put on our auto brakes to RTO. Our displays are now powering up. Now that the aircraft has power. So we'll go ahead and start with a quick pre-flight checklist. So we're not going to do any of the emergency checklists. We'll just say oxygen's tested at 100%. Flight instruments, heading and altimeter are both set. And we'll go ahead and lock in our parking brake. Alright, pre-flight checklist is complete. And now let's go ahead and start programming our FMC here. So, throw in our GPS position. Also go ahead and put in KLAX as our reference airport. Go to the route page and put in KLAX again. And we're going to be going to YSSY, as everybody knows. Runway that it gave us is 25 right. Let's go ahead and request that route. Alright, and we'll go ahead and load that route uplink. And then we'll come on down here and we will activate it as soon as it's there for us. There we go. Activate and execute. Let's go ahead and go into the performance initialization page now. It's going to give us some predefined inputs here. So let's take a look at what it gives us. See how close it is to our flight plan. So it says flight level 320. We're going to go ahead and reject that, and we'll go ahead and manually put in flight level 340. And we'll go ahead and put in our zero fuel weight. We'll give ourselves 2 reserves, and then a cost index according to our flight plan of 160. 160. Alright, let's go ahead and go to our takeoff page. We're going to go ahead and take a flaps 15 departure, set our CG, and then what we'll also go ahead and do now is go to our legs page. We'll load our wind data, which is come with the route uplink. We'll execute that, and then it also says that our destination forecast uplink is also available. So we'll go to the third page, of our VNAV, go to our forecast, and we'll load that as well. So our wind data is all loaded up. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and take a quick listen to Addons and see what it's talking about.
Los Angeles Airport information, India 05210, wind 237 at 11, visibility greater than 20 miles, sky conditions, no clouds below 20,000, temperature 24, 2.16, altimeter 2987, ILS, runway 25, right ILS, runway 25, left ILS, runway 24, left ILS, runway 24, right, landing and departing runway 25, right, runway 25, left runway 24, left, runway 24, right, impart aircraft feature.
Alright, so it sounds as though 25 right is an active runway right now. We've got our altimeter, and we do see that winds are a little bit left of the runway, and they're decently strong, but definitely nothing we can't handle for right now. So let's go ahead and go to our departure page, and we'll get ourselves all set up. So we're going to be taking 25 right. Now in terms of our SID, we'll go ahead and take a look at our KLAX charts here, and we'll determine what our SID's going to be. So let's go ahead and open up KLAX. And we will leave just the SID and the general up here. And if we look at our SIDs, we can see that there is a ZILI-1 RNAV that's available for runways 24 right and 24 right and 25 right. So let's take a look at what that looks like. So this is 24, 25 left. Alright, so 24 right, 25 right. Now, if we look at our flight plan here, it does tell us that it wants us to go to FICI. So, as we look at this, we can see we're heading at a 251 for runway 25 right. We are going to then go across to Knock or Wheeler, down to Tandy, taking the ZILI-1, and then we could take Lauer or Boot, and either one will bring us on out to FICI. Now, we're going to go ahead and take the inside track, if you will. So we will take this one, so Lauer. So ZILI Lauer to FICI. and that should get us to where we need to go. So let's go ahead and look for Zilly. There's Zilly, and then Lauer. Alright, looks good to me. Let's go ahead and plug in our V speeds now. Alright, all that looks good to go. So we'll go ahead and put in our V2 of 162. Alright, and she looks good to go. So our passengers are now loaded. What we're going to go ahead and do is go ahead and button up our passenger doors. So let's close these up, and then we'll also go ahead and arm them when they're ready. And we will pull back our jetway as well. Alright, and the jetway is coming back. Alright, very good. So all that's left to do now is to button up the right hand side of the aircraft once our cargo is ready to go. And we'll go ahead and start our APU, put on our left forward pump, and we'll get our APU running so that when we're ready to get pushed back, we are prepared. Alright, so everything looks good to me. We'll go ahead and wait for our cargo to come on board, and then we'll get on our way. Alright, so our cargo is pretty much loaded on board, so what we're going to go ahead and do now is call for clearance.
Los Angeles, cleared for delivery, 984 Penny, IFR, Sydney, ready to come. 984 Penny is cleared to Sydney Airport as filed. Fly runway heading, climb and maintain 8,000. Departure frequency is 132.7, squawk 5127. 984 Penny, cleared to Sydney Airport as filed. Fly runway heading, climb and maintain 8,000. Departure on 132.7, squawk 5127. 984 Penny, we back correct. Contact ground at 121.65. Los Angeles ground, 984 Penny with kilo, ready to taxi. IFR. 984 Penny, taxi to and hold short of runway 25, right using taxiway Charlie 10 Bravo. Contact tower on 133.9er when ready. Taxi to and hold short, runway 25, right using taxiway Charlie 10 Bravo.
Alright, so it's telling us that we want to take Charlie 10 Bravo. So first of all, let's take a look at the APC here. And we're right here at the end of Tom Bradley International Terminal, and Charlie 10 is right here. So we're going to go ahead and get pushed back, and we will go ahead and take Charlie 10. I know GSX is going to ask us if we want to be heading north. I'm sorry, if we want to be heading east or west. So I'm going to say we're going to be facing west, and then we'll just have to make a hard turn onto Charlie 10. So hopefully that works out. If not, we'll go up here to Papa and turn back around. But hopefully that works out in our favor. All right, so let's go ahead and button up the rest of our doors. Our APU is now on and running, and we'll go ahead and go to our ground connections. Our parking brake is on, and we'll go ahead and remove our ground connections. What we'll also go ahead and do is, since it is a nighttime departure, we'll go ahead and turn off our cabin lights so that our passengers can get some sleep. And let's go ahead and call for GSX to push us back. Alright, hopefully facing west works for us. So let's go ahead and put on all of our fuel pumps. We'll go ahead and put on our manned and hydraulic pumps as well. Alright, and we'll go ahead and put on our packs now as well. And everything looks good to go to me. So let's go ahead and start with our before start checklist. Flight deck door is locked. MCP is already set. Takeoff speeds are set. CD pre-flight. Trim is not set as of yet, but now that we do have hydraulic power, I guess we can go ahead and do that now. So it's supposed to be 375. Right, 375. So trim is set. Taxi and takeoff briefing is completed, and we'll go ahead and put on our beacon now as we're about to start. Alright, before start checklist is complete.
Departure check completed. Line has been inserted. Release parking brakes. Commencing push. All engines clear.
Alright, so let's go ahead and get this bad boy started up. We'll go ahead and take a look at our engine page here. And we'll start with the right engine, or engine number 2 first. And you can see that our lights got a little bit brighter as our engine generators kicked online. So number 2 is started now. It looks stable. We'll go ahead and start number 1. Trying to see where Charlie 10 is. So there's Papa. Maybe getting pushed back for Charlie 10. So we'll just go up to Papa, make a left on Papa, and turn down onto Bravo. So as we look at our chart once again, so from Papa we're going to take Bravo as instructor. We're going to take Bravo straight down to 25 right. So as we look at a broader picture of the terminal, you can see that Bravo's going to take us right down here to the takeoff hold light of 25 right. So we'll go down here, check for any traffic, get our takeoff clearance, and then we'll enter and shoot off of 25 right. And great, just our luck. Oh wait, are they gonna turn us enough? I don't know what GSX is doing here. There's Charlie 10, maybe we'll make it. Come on, buddy. Yay! GSX loves us today. They're so smart. They're so smart, little guy. Cool, so they pushed us back far enough. Anyways, alright, so our engines are now started. We'll go ahead and test our TCAS real quickly. Oh, thanks a lot, Spirit. Just gonna ram us, huh?
TCAS test pass.
Alright, so TCAS is set. We won't need weather radar or our terrain information, so go ahead and leave those off. We'll just fly with TCAS on our departure. And we'll go ahead and take a look at our overhead, make sure everything's extinguished on the hydraulic, bleed air, and fuel side. Take a quick look at the electric panel. Looks good. At the hydraulic panel. Looks good. And we'll just take one last look at the engines. Alright, all that looks good. Open up our next checklist, and we'll go ahead and turn off our APU. Alright, so APU is now cooling down. Before a taxi checklist, we don't need anti-ice. Recall is checked. All we've got is TCAS. Flight controls, we will go ahead and check. Now that these guys are out of the way, we can go ahead and check our flight controls. So we'll give ourselves full right. Alright, full left. Elevator full forward. And elevator to the back. Alright, now we'll go ahead and test our rudder. It's a humongous rudder back there, so go ahead and do it slowly. And we'll give ourselves full rudder to the right. And slowly return her. Full rudder to the left. Slowly return her. Center her up. And brakes are working, so we're good to go. So go ahead and go back to our checklist here. Flight controls are checked. Ground equipment, these guys are head not out. So ground equipment is clear. Alright, let's go ahead and turn on our taxi light. And we will go ahead and take off our storm light. Go ahead and set our flaps to 15. Alright, before taxi checklist is complete. And here's Charlie 10. We'll go ahead and turn up on Charlie 10 and make our way on over to Bravo and then down to our runway. Now we're pretty heavy today, so it's going to take a little bit of effort to get us moving. But with enough power, we'll get ourselves rolling here. And then once we get the energy up, once we get the momentum, it'll be a piece of cake from there. Alright, we're barely starting to move. Got a little bit more energy going. Oh, come on, dude. We're gonna turn it our way, American. Alright, there's Bravo. So here's Bravo. We're going to turn on it, then we'll continue on our way. The 777 is a pretty large aircraft, so unlike the 737, when you're taxiing or when you're lining up for a runway, you almost want to position yourself so that you think about the taxi line being somewhere around here. Right, because the gear is actually behind the pilot, so you want to kind of overshoot the taxi line or the center line of the runway, and then turn on it because it's such a large aircraft. It's like a 18-wheeler. You gotta kind of overshoot your line to properly line up on anything. So sometimes, you know, in tighter taxiways, KLAX has pretty generously large taxiways, but on some of the smaller ones, it looks almost as if you're sitting off of the actual taxiway, just because of how far forward the cockpit is on your turns. So we got a decent amount of taxiway traffic up here. We got an American and what looks like a Delta in front of us. So we'll go ahead and continue our taxi, and we'll catch up when we're ready to line up.
Los Angeles ground 370 with Lima ready to taxi.
Alright, so it looks like the Delta traffic in front of us is about ready to get on her way. And then we'll be next up, so let's go ahead and tune ourselves on over to the tower now. We'll request our takeoff clearance, which will probably be number 2.
Ready for IFR departure. Runway 25 right. 984 Penny, hold short. Runway 25 right. Traffic is Boeing 737 on the runway. Short. Runway 25 right. 984 Penny.
Alright, so now that we're here, we'll go ahead and turn on our TCAS. The cabin already alerted us that they are ready, and everything looks good to go. So we are good for our departure. I saw a little bit of traffic out there. I think we got enough space between us and them, wherever they are. They may be here in our little blind spot. I can't really tell. I thought I saw him. I don't know. Alright. She's about to get on her way. Gotta be cautious of wake turbulence, so we will set ourselves a little mental timer here. Give ourselves a minute.
Skywest 2578, contact SoCal departure on 1327. 132.7 for Skywest 2578.
Approaching 25 right.
Delta 883, contact SoCal departure on 1327. Going at 1327, Delta 883.
On runway 25 right.
Alright, and my mental timer has about hit 1 minute, so we should be clear of their wake turbulence if there was any we had to be concerned about. Go ahead and taxi in position and hold here. I don't know if HEC wants us to go up a little bit further, but let's go ahead and go a little bit further and see if she calls us, see if he calls us for clearance. And while we're doing that, let's take a quick look at our before takeoff checklist. It's just flaps anyways, and we're good for before takeoff checklist is complete. It's an American company landing over there. Alright, let's see if he wants to give us our clearance now. Somebody had to go around. Alright, I don't know what HEC is doing. It sounds like they may not be calling us back here, so that's fine. We'll go ahead and just set ourselves off of them then. And we'll go ahead and put on our landing lights and assume that we did get takeoff clearance. Beacon, nav, logos all on, and we're all buttoned up. We're good to go. Flaps are in their position. We'll go ahead and arm LNAV and VNAV, and we'll go ahead and go with Toga. Once again, we are rotating at 154. wind's a little bit off to our left, so we'll just keep that in mind here. Give ourselves a little bit of rudder. And here we go.
V1. Rotate. V2.
Alright, and we've got a positive rate of climb. Go ahead and take gear up. And go ahead and take in our first notch of flaps to 5. And we'll go ahead and put on our autopilot. Alright, we'll bring ourselves up to flaps 1. And we'll go ahead and go flaps up. Alright, and we are established on our departure. So let's go ahead and take a look at our after takeoff checklist. Landing gear is up, flaps are up. After takeoff checklist is complete. Go ahead and take off our taxi lights and our runway turn off lights now. And we are on our way out of Los Angeles, so if you guys enjoyed that departure, go ahead and sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the flight. Alright, so here we are, about ready to start our descent on into YSSY. This is going to be the end of our journey. So let's go ahead and take a look at our charts here and figure out exactly how we want to shoot this approach. So, as you can see here, our current session is running at 1,001 minutes. So we've been flying for, minus a couple of pauses I took, we've been flying for somewhere around 15 hours or so. So definitely time to get down on the ground and take a nap. So let's try to see if we can do this without screwing it up, because I'm kind of tired. So we're going to be taking a runway 16 right approach using the Marlin approach, it looks like. So let's take a real quick look at what that chart looks like. So we've got, I was looking back at Los Angeles, but let's pull back up our YSSY approaches here. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the stars only is what I want to see. Get rid of this. the click. All right, so if you guys look, we have an ILS for 16 right. We've got an ILS Zulu and Yankee. If you ever see a suffix like that next to your approach, don't really worry about it too much unless you are using an ATC service that gives you vectors to one of the two, because all it really is usually they have a slightly different go-around procedure based on what traffic at the airport looks like at that time. So since we're going to YSSY, we'll use the Yankee one, just to be all sentimental about stuff. And let's take a look. So it looks like TSAT actually sits right over the airport. So not too sure what that's about, but we'll drop TSAT as one of our waypoints here, because obviously we want to be up here for 16 right when we get to it. So let's take a look at the star now, and our star is probably going to be Marlin 1. It looks like so. Alright, so here's the Marlin 1. We know we don't even want to mess with TSAT. And it looks like actually, yeah, so as you guys can see, I mean, since it's trying to shoot us straight into TSAT, it tells us that more than likely you would need ATC to vector you up to the start of this approach. So what we will do is we're going to go ahead and drop TSAT as one of our waypoints. We'll take a look at what it looks like in our FMC, but you know, when we get a little bit closer to the airport, if we need to, we'll just go ahead and manually manage ourselves on in to the pattern, so that we can shoot the approach. It does look like you want to be for the 16. Where is it? 16 right. Yankee. It does look like we want to enter, I want to say, at 3,000 feet if I saw that correctly. And then our decision altitude we'll shoot for 210. So we want to enter 3,000, we want to have a decision altitude 210. Cool, looks good to me. So let's take a little look-see and see how easy or difficult this is going to be. So we're going to be using the Yankee with the Marlin 1. We will not worry about any sort of transition. Actually, yeah, we will take the Marlin transition. And let's take a look at what that looks like. So we'll shoot this on over to plan. Close ourselves down to around 20. And alright, so there's our Marlin. Let's look at our legs. So we're just going to take this Marlin up to here. Close that off. We're going to take this and close off TSAT. And let's take a look. Alright, so Marlin, whale, prawn. It's going to shoot us right on up. And it works, actually. It's a little bit weird. Hold on, let me see if we can clean this up at all. So Marlin, whale, prawn. So, alright. Let's try to... Actually, there's no real way of cleaning this up anymore. It's just going to be a funky little approach. Whatever, we'll live. We'll figure it out, guys. So, cool. Looks good to me. For the most part, we've got ourselves set up for an approach. I believe we set our decision altitude is going to be, we said, what was it, 210? Is that what I saw? Yeah, 210. So let's go ahead and set that up now. 210, coming down. Oh, come on, man. Anyways, you get the idea. We'll set this to 210, and I will see you guys a little bit closer to our approach. Alright, see you guys then. Alright, so here we are, our approach, and you can see YSSY right there out to our left. We're flying over the Sydney Opera House, which is somewhere down there by the city right there. So let's go ahead and set up the final parts of our approach here. So first of all, descent checklist is already complete, auto brakes are set, and we're going to go ahead and land at flaps 25. When I was looking at our legs on the way down, I think this is a little bit too fast. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that down to 210, actually 200, at 3,000 or above, because we're going to be on a pretty tight turn there. And then I'm going to bring this down to 150 at 1,700. So everything looks pretty good so far. Our go-around altitude, according to our chart, is 3,000, so we're good there. Let's go ahead and listen to Addons real quickly.
Yankee Sierra Sierra Yankee Airport information Delta 0300 Zulu weather wind 337 at 7 visibility 10 sky condition 3800 scattered temperature 20 dew point 8 QNH 1022 advise on initial contact. You have information Delta.
Alright, so winds are coming out of the kind of north-northwest, and then 1022 is going to be our QNH, so we'll switch that on over. 022. Alright, and we've got our minimum set, and I'm going to go ahead and switch this over to approach now, so that we can see when the localizer is alive. Looks like it is right now, so let's see if we can capture it in time. Probably not. I'm going to go ahead and give us flaps 5. In the meantime, says the drag's required, so we'll go ahead and put in our speed brakes here. And we may have to pull a manual landing here. See how far off we get, because let's go ahead and ourselves at a heading of 110. See if we can pull this off. It's going to be tight. Anyway, so approach altimeters are set. Let's go ahead and take a look at our landing checklist. And yeah, we're going to miss it, so I'm going to go ahead and manually land us here. So I will go ahead and put ourselves on altitude hold, put ourselves down to 180 here, and autopilot comes off. So I'm going to go ahead and try to pull this off. And we'll go ahead and give ourselves another notch of flaps here, and we'll bring our gear down. Alright, gear's coming down. Alright, let's see what we can do here. Is that warning? Who knows? Alright. We're going to go ahead and bring ourselves down to 150 now. Still going to try to capture this glide slope here. You can see there's some traffic approaching the runway. Hopefully they're out of the way by the time we get there. Just heard the ping saying that the cabin's ready. And and our next notch of flaps is down.
1,000.
We'll set this to 143.
Approaching 16 right.
We should be right about glide slope now.
Sync rate. Sync rate.
Minimums.
And we're landing. Good. We're right on the glide slope.
100. 50.
It's getting us just a little bit.
30. 20. 10.
Alright, there we go. Go ahead and put in our reversers now. Slowly let the nose down. Reversers are engaged. Alright, switch over to manual braking now that we're at 60 knots. Alright, very good. So let's go ahead and turn off here. We'll clean up the aircraft for our taxi. Let's get out of everybody's way. So we'll come here onto this taxiway. And, landing lights come off. Runway turn off lights come on. Taxi's on. Strobes off. Start our APU. And go ahead and put up our flaps. Alright. So let's figure out where the heck we're going. So flaps are already coming up. Let's turn off TCAS as well. Alright, and then let's go ahead and call for ground. We'll go taxi to the gates.
Request taxi to the gate. Niner 8 Orb Heavy, taxi to gate 73 via taxiway Bravo 8 Alpha 2 Juliet.
Alright, so they're going to take us to
Alpha 2 Juliet. Niner
Bravo 8, which we're... Is this Bravo 8 that we're on right now? Yeah, we are. But it wants us to go Bravo 8 Alpha 2. So let's take a look at our chart here and figure out exactly where the heck we're going. So if we look at the AGC, I believe is what we're going to want to look at. And we came in 16 right. Bravo 8 is where we are right now. And we want to go up to Alpha 2, which actually looks like it's on the opposite side of the airport. Yeah, there's Alpha 1. So Alpha 2 is back here. So what we're gonna do is this is gonna be tricky. So okay, we'll make a left here to Bravo 7. Did those two connect? Yeah, so we'll make a left here. Let me just look out the window real quickly and make sure. So we're just going to backtrack. Let's just see if we can backtrack. We're going to backtrack here onto Alpha 2. And then from Alpha 2, they have us going to Juliet, which is here. And then we'll go over to the AFC page, take a look at exactly where our gate's going to be. I'm sorry, APC. Alright, well, let's go ahead and backtrack. We're going to get over to Alpha 2, and then we'll get up to Juliet, and then it says that we're going to gate, which would be up here, gate 73. So 73. Alright, so we'll be on the left-hand side of Juliet. Alright, so let's go ahead and see if we can make this turn. It's going to be super tight. Yeah, I know you don't like how much throttle I'm putting in, but I gotta do it, buddy. Alright, and then let's also go ahead and call GSX, make sure that they know that we're going to 873. Alright, oh, we made the turn. Nice. Let's do Qantas. I like Qantas.
Qantas 502, continue taxi. Taxi, General Aviation Park, using taxiway, Lima Bravo, Bravo 8, Charlie Golf, Echo, Citation, Hotel,
We're gonna make a left here on Juliet, and then it's the 2/3 gate on our left. Let's see here. Alright. make our left here. So that's one. I want to go up to our third one. So we'll go normal. And up next up is shutdown. So we'll hold off on that until we get up here. And then that's 2. And here's number 3. So it's a stand. Alright, and let's see if we can make this turn. Lineup's pretty good. Actually, the lineup's dead on. Very nice. Alright. Slow this down. We'll turn off our taxi light so we don't blind this guy. And try to get us as close in as possible. Alright. That's gonna have to do. Not bad. Not bad. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and put on our parking brake now. And we will go ahead and shut down our engines here. And we'll go ahead and turn off our beacon light. And our runway turnoffs. And we'll begin this shutdown checklist. So, hydraulic panel. We'll go ahead and shut these down first. And we'll go ahead and turn off all of our pumps except for one. Center pumps are already off, and we'll go ahead and hook ourselves up to ground power here. Ground connections, wheel chocks are on, dual jetway plugs in the air conditioning unit. And then we'll also go ahead and turn back on our cabin lights. Full. Oops, full. And we'll go ahead and request for deboarding. Alright, and so the rest of our checklist, so fuel pumps are both cut off here now that we've got ground power on. We'll turn off this last fuel pump along with our secondary power and primary power, external power both on, so we can now shut off the APU, turn off our packs, and parking brake is set. Very good. So let's open up our doors now. So doors, we're going to have to disarm this, open up these two. We're probably going to have to put the left entry 2 and left entry 4 all open. And that should do the trick. So, alright guys, well I hope that you enjoyed it. And a little bit of a tricky taxi there, but everything else I think went pretty doggone well. So thank you guys as always so much for joining. And since we're in Australia, in the famous words of Steve Irwin,
thanks for joining us tonight, and I'd like to see you next time.